back. WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. My hair's getting long. This is sort of morning hair for me. I'm waiting for Hammerjacks to reopen. All of our WNST Baltimore Positive programming brought to you by my friends at Cole Roofing. I'm trying to get the right lighting in here for this. I've done away with the background. He's got a sexy roof behind him when I have him on every week. Bill Cole joins us now from Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy. One of our sponsors, but one of our friends, and one of my friends I know through sports, who famously, and I outed you this week as encouraging me to do these non-sports related activities. What's going on, man? It's opening day week, and I thought I'd bring some sunshine and some baseball your way, man. I know you're waiting for it.
I'm definitely okay being found guilty of encouraging you to talk about things other than sports. So
why did you do that? Can I ask you, like, what was it about?
I would say that was more, once I got to know you and we became better friends, there's so much more depth to you and your platform and your ability to have meaningful discussions with people. I just think the world is in dire need of witnessing
this right here. Yeah. Intelligent conversation.
Right, exactly.
We call them wise conversations now because a guy like you got a company like Wise Markets to work with a company like me, amazing 30 years later, that I've been bringing the milk in here, but the milk's curdling. So I have to wait for the milk carton to be empty because I'm still drinking the milk right now. But we are organic around here. Big appreciation. So wise conversations, you can call them that now. Okay?
Yes, wise conversations, especially the fact that you and I historically don't always agree on everything. And it doesn't, and I'm not necessarily speaking to like whether they should run or throw, it's more just life. And if we can't have meaningful dialogue on that, then we never get any better. So
you're saying if we discuss religion, guns, immigration, sex, politics, any of those, we probably would disagree on some things, right?
Well, I think we're more alike than we probably give credit to because we don't talk about the things that everybody's alike about, right? We only talk about the things that are the hot button items where people tend to disagree and form opinions based on their experiences and the information that they gather. And sometimes that leads us astray, and you have to have an open mind, right?
Look, the place you found me, and I don't know when in the late 90s you found me on Hart Road interning, with Bob Haney a billion years ago. But I would say you found me in a medium on AM radio where I needed to stand out. And in order to stand out, I either needed to know more or, and this is the ticket, do what Fox News does every night, just spew a bunch of nonsense and just get outrage going everywhere about anything from Dr. Seuss to whatever today's tan suits. You know what I mean? So for me, the outrage part of every Monday, allowing people to vent about firing Ted Marchibroda or Tony Banks is too black and Trent Dilfer's too white. You know what I mean? Like I did all of that. And the outrage part of it never solved anything. I mean, it made Rush Limbaugh, famous, but like I never really wanted to have you say black and I say white, you say red and I say blue. I never wanted to be a part of that. So I moved away from that from the beginning because it's not why I got into this. I mean, I'm writing a mission statement for Baltimore Positive. So you got me in the middle of all of this, Bill, as I take a little downtime on opening day. But I would just say the outrage part of we disagree, let's spar, is not something that I want to participate in at 53. I didn't want to participate in it at 27 when I started this thing, right? But I definitely don't want to spend my day bickering with people.
I hear that.
I'd rather learn.
I get that. I think what I saw that you don't really recognize it, like it's sort of invisible, but it remains true today. So even when, we don't like who the quarterback is or we don't like the results, or we all still go to the game. We all still march, through New Orleans to go support our team. Like the loyalty and the civic pride part is the connecting that never goes away. Whether you think they should run it or I think they should throw it, it doesn't matter. We're all connected in that way. So the question is, now that we've connected through this common platform of wanting our team to win, can we entice people to have meaningful dialogue about hey, why doesn't anybody go to Camden Yards? Like, is it really a public
I've
safety
been asking
thing?
that forever,
Right,
dude. I mean,
is it
I
right?
was on the front end of when this place was built. We need this for the city. This is a part of the community. This is a gem. This is a treasure. This is a trust. And then Angelo's bought it, and 30 years later, it's just a shitty business, is all it is. I mean, literally, that's what it's just a business that sits on the edge of town that's been siphoning money. Everybody knows it. I'm the only one that admits it. You won't hear that from Ed Norris over 105.7, or you won't hear that from Bob Haney or Rob. You won't hear that from them because they're in business with them. They're there to protect that. I'm there to see that it never got to the state that it's in right now, which is 100 losses, and everyone just has to accept it. And I have Alan here and Luke to just say, well, they just had to blow it up. So does Cole Roofing have to suck for 5 years in order for me to get a good roof? Seriously, does Baltimore Positive have to suck for 5 years that in 2024 I might have something good? It's absurd. But opening day's next week, and to your point, I'm not mad about any of this. I'm trying to figure out what the end game is here for what the real value in this is. And to your point, and trying to get me to speak to higher issues than who was the relief pitcher last night and whether the manager's an idiot for leaving him in to pitch to the left-hander in the eighth inning. I haven't had that kind of conversation here in 20 years, by the way. That was the basis of WNST. My career was loving the Orioles. There was no Ravens when I started this 30 years ago. It was loving the Orioles, loving Baltimore, and I'm in search of people who still love the Orioles. I can't find them like in that way. I asked Steve Jeppy to come on this week. Like people that still love it. I had Mike Gibbons on this week. I'm chasing Mark Messina down up the hill, right? Like Al Bumbry's coming on this week. Ken Singleton's coming on this week. But it's coming 2 weeks from now. And if you love outdoor and you got a shot and you're looking for something to do with your family, going to a ball game for all of our lifetime has been something that boys and girls and men and women and grandmoms and grandpeople have wanted to do. I, you know, I am I am at a crossroads here with what I'm doing as to whether I'm going back or anybody I know is going back. And it's a really good time to ask that because opening day's next week and nobody seems to realize that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I thought there would be a little more fervor around opening day, just more pandemic related than necessarily the Oriole game itself.
It
And
would
I
be like
think,
the celebration of like us getting through this, right? Like there's going to be that moment where we kiss the sailor in the street and lift our leg and woohoo, roaring
right,
20s, right? I
right,
mean,
right.
if you opening day, if you love Baltimore, the Preakness, I mean, these things that have been part of our lives and your grandfather's life, founding Cole
Still,
Roofing 100 years ago.
yeah, still weird though, right? So, limited, even though probably the cap at Camden Yards won't be hit, which is a weird situation unto itself. But I think I heard this morning about Preakness, right? Like they're going to run it, and they're just limited number of people are going to go, and that's the evolution of this pandemic. Is last year we postponed everything because we didn't know. Now we know enough. We think we can do things safely, but you're still working through it, and it's still weird. There's an article out about if you want your kid to still learn virtually in the fall, you can start registering for that. I don't know. I didn't necessarily think that was going to be a thing. So
You think your
we,
kids are going to have shots by the fall?
no, but I'm not sure that anybody's seems to be concerned about that. Like I don't ever hear any topics about the group of kids that they're testing or like when they expect. All you ever hear is about the adults and when it's going to be available to everyone, and that's all you ever hear.
April
And mask,
27th. Uncle Larry
yeah,
got up last week, and I went to the GoVax site, and I still can't sign up. But whenever my turn is, I'm waiting patiently. My wife's having a good time. She shot up.
yeah. The turn thing is really weird because I mean, if you like were able to go take a poll right now and see who's got it, like I think the rules have ensured that more of the over 70 population have been vaccinated, right, than maybe any other age range. But there's definitely lots of people who don't seem to fit the protocol that have been vaccinated for one reason or another. So, rules schmools. I don't know. I mean, there's just
I'm
another.
convinced if you hang around a vaccination site at 5 o'clock every day, you'll get a shot.
No, 100%. You can get on wait lists where they will call you
At
at like
3:30, yeah.
6 o'clock in the evening and say, look, if you
Close at 8.
come,
Yeah.
we have to throw them away, so we're going to use them. So you're welcome to come. So that's definitely going. And I don't have any, I have no issue with that, right? Like that, like to me,
My little concern watching my wife is like randomly, if somebody called me right now and said, I've got a shot, get here in an hour, I'm feeling like I'm going to be sick as a dog 12 hours from now. And I have to, for me, I'd rather plan it, and give myself 2 days. I watch what my wife went through with the shakes, 5 hours after she had her shot. She thought, I feel good. I feel good. Oh my God, I don't feel good. Oh my God, I feel awful. And she went off a cliff, about 8 hours after the shot. And it didn't last long, but you're shaking in bed for 6 hours. I'm not making meetings.
right? I
So
don't.
I'm just trying to plan a little bit like that because I feel like I'm going to get a shot. I'm going to be fine. We're all going to be fine. That's the Baltimore positive part of me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know that everybody gets sick from getting a shot, but enough people have gotten sick that I think the responsible thing to do is make sure that you allot yourself some time to
I'm expecting a
ride
hangover.
out. Yeah, right, to ride out the hangover. And look, it would be wonderful, like sometime in May, to go to the afternoon special 12:30 Oriole game.
Sounds like you've been looking on the calendar, Billy.
No, I actually haven't, but I can wish, right? And it's like, what a wonderful way to spend an afternoon. Like that sounds really exciting.
In the old days, there'd be an Oriole. I'd be in the liquor store over King Liquors, and I'd already have the schedule out, right? I'd already have circled the games that maybe I want to go to. My wife's family would have circled the Red Sox, and I'd have a cot in here, where my yoga mat is. So like, and no one seems to care. Like that's the amazing part. TJ Brightman, do you care? John Angelos cared enough to spend 2 hours with his feet up on Jason Lockenfora's desk and runs like a schoolgirl for me. So like I don't they need to re-engage with people like you and me who love sports. And I don't see any effort in that way to own the end of the pandemic, to have people come down. $5 ticket night, come on down. Let's make a Tuesday night. We really get 11,000 people here on an
Right.
11,000 socially distanced night. Let's try to really fill the place every night.
I would definitely agree that it doesn't feel like they're leaning in, right? Like that they to your point, what you just said there is, I want to own the end of the pandemic. And like, I dig that concept because by default, people are going to go, right? By default, people are going to go to the game because they can, and it'll be wonderful and it'll be different. And I haven't been in forever and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. But to your point, like, we want to have 11,000 people every single home game. So let's get out in the community. Let's figure out how we're going to do that. Let's have, local school night, and let's have the university night, and let's have dollar hot dog night. And yeah,
they've done a lot of things though, right? I mean, I know I'm a little out of focus on my picture, but people can still hear me, which is probably the best way to look at me. They've done bring your dog to the game. I mean, they've done everything other than milk the cow, right? Like literally, I don't. They've given away garden gnome bobbleheads. They have Star Wars night. Billy, if I showed you the video from 2 years ago of my wife and I out in that garden where they put the statues, and it was snowing in July out there against the Padres. I don't know why they did Christmas in July. You're laughing at me, right? You think I'm making this up. I'm not making this up.
No, I get that they do a lot of stuff. But to your point, it's that genuine engagement, right? And because, like, I don't know if it's the product on the field. I think
No, the engagement used to be the
come,
game. The engagement used to be
right,
Brooks and Cal and Eddie, right? Like the engagement used to be I love baseball.
You want to? I mean, I'll look. I'm not afraid of being brutally honest with you and embarrassing myself, but I, at this point, am not sure that I can name two starting players on the Orioles team.
If I give you Trey, can you give me the last name?
Mancini.
Okay. If I give you John, the pitcher.
Mm,
Means.
mm.
MEAN, means.
Chris
No.
Davis, is he still our first
Chris
baseman?
Davis is still on the team. There you go. You got two. So you're right.
Okay.
All right, good. He's still on the team. Shouldn't be on the team.
Right.
If you had a guy that hit 154 on roofs and struck out that much, they wouldn't be on a roof by the weekend.
Yeah, it would be very difficult.
Bill
Which,
Cole is here,
okay,
Cole Roofing and Gordy Energy. Go ahead. You had something to say.
well, I was just gonna like understanding the philosophy that the Orioles are attempting to, the what are the Billy Bean and like this, statistically driven. If that means that I don't really know the names of the guys, but they're all grinders, hey, I'm cool with that, right? Like that doesn't bother me. I want to see, W's. I want people to come to the stadium. I want the restaurants and the bars to be able to, fill up on a Tuesday evening in June. So I'm okay with not knowing the players if it's part of the philosophy of trying to win. Like I'm cool with that.
He is Bill Cole, and Bill Cole of Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy. And my video is a mess here in this particular segment. For everyone out there, tell them what you really do for a living, and then I want you to go into what a typical Wednesday in the life of a local business owner in dealing with literally federal government, right? Like you're having, and we've done this with the doctors, our friends at KO, and we've had a whole bunch of medical folks on the last 2 years in the Maryland Hospital Association talking about what the needs are of government for your industry. And is this solar or is this just straight roofing, Bill?
It's sort of it's a roofing day, but solar plays into roofing. Like we have to recognize that those two need to learn how to play well together, and that solar represents a wonderful opportunity to make roofers more valuable to the universe. So that's one of the reasons why I do it. So we're a commercial roofer, 100 years, taking care of people's properties. And then we have a solar company that's installing solar panels on rooftops, on parking lots, and in farms, on farms. On a very special Wednesday, it's not a typical Wednesday. I don't want to. This is what I spend all my time doing because somebody's going to probably have a problem with that. But we get to have scheduled 15-minute meetings with our representatives down in DC. Today, I get to talk to Representative Andy Harris and Senator Van Hollen and Senator Ben Cardin and Representative John Sarbanes.
3 out of 4 ain't bad.
Well, it takes all kinds to make the world go round. So my job is to weave a yarn that plays on their heartstrings to help support the things that are important.
Tell Andy Harris you love guns, you'll get anything you want. So there you go.
I'm not sure it's quite that simple, but I think that the goal is that meaningful immigration reform, increasing the amount of funding that's going to the career and technical institutions, so community colleges and things like that, so that we can train people up.
Big fan of that, being a community college graduate. I've had Dr. Kurt Nitis on many times from CCBC.
Right. And then the third pillar of the ask is like, okay, if you guys are going to do infrastructure, let's try and do infrastructure in a way that actually makes sense. And it's amusing, right? So I volunteer as part of our larger roofing association, and then they really, I'll tell you, it's amazing.
How many people do roofs in Maryland?
Good question. There's about 2,000 people who are employed in the actual installation of roofing. So if you expand on that, maybe it's 3,000-4,000 people. Okay. Here's a trivia question. What state has the most roofers that work in it?
I'm going to say California, because California has a lot of people.
Number 2.
Well,
California was
Texas, Florida, New York. I mean, the big states are good.
Florida has like double the amount of roofers that California has. And those two have like 4 times as many roofers as any other state. It's the numbers are crazy. Um, Roughly 750,000 people,
So
right?
what do you say to Andy Harris and John? I mean, I know I have a lot of things I could say to Andy Harris. I've said a lot of things to John Sarbanes. I've said a lot of things to Ben Carden. I've said a lot of things to Chris Van Allen. You can go find them. They're regulars around here. We talk rationally and reasonably for literally hours on end. If you wish to go and hear their thoughts on issues, but what do you say to them about roofing and or solar?
Well, so I'm not like I volunteer to do this, but I'm probably not the best person because they really want me to go in there and be very specific about the ask and all that, and that's just not my nature. My nature is more to be like, so like, can you really get behind some kind of immigration reform that's actually meaningful? Because like our organization wants you to work on this thing that has like a new visa program and and then I get
Well,
all these
speak
sort of
to
talking
immigration in
points.
your industry, right? It's like the restaurant industry. Everybody believes someone's illegal in a kitchen. I would think when I see a roof, when I see a window, when I see people hanging from things, when I see they're Hispanic and I'm Hispanic, I don't look at them and think, get out of the country. I look at them and see my brother from Venezuela who was not born here, my other brother who was. I look and see my father who came to this country to have me back in the 1960s so that I would have the American dream to watch the Orioles lose 100 games every year. So
So so here's my position, and this you're gonna hate this because it's really vanilla, and you like me to plant my
no, I
flag in
want
the
your
sand.
position to be honest. I don't. That's all.
My honest position is that I know there are half the roofers in the country who think that we need to get every illegal immigrant out of the country and don't let anybody else in, and then the other half of the roofers in the country say they're the best workers, they're great family people, and we love them and we want them all to be here and do that. That's not my particular point, right? Both of them are built on whatever they believe in their experiences and all that. It's fine. My problem is that we have a system that is fundamentally broken, which means that the rules aren't followed consistently and that there are unintended consequences that go on in our marketplace. Like, and the avoidance of dealing with the problem
The
is
real
is the
problem
yeah
that these
is the
people are
issue.
starving and they want to come here, and we're either going to do something about it and hold the line and be right about it, or we're just going to let it be the wild, wild west, right?
I will never underplay, and this is why I don't know how well my day is going to go. But it's like I get it that you need to get reelected, and that makes it really hard to take a stance on something that might be unpopular with your constituents, even though you're trying to make a compromise and you're really trying to move the country forward. Because we're not going to get it all one way or all the other way, because lots of people have different opinions. So it makes it really hard to compromise because then your opponent 6 months later, a year later, is saying, look, he voted this, and that's not how all you feel.
Well, I mean, look, for anybody that voted for Joe Biden, and I'm proudly in that camp, the criticism would be, just going to let everybody in the country. No, 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 no. That's not the way this works. We're also not going to kick out people who've been here 35 years, that were born here, that have been paying taxes and have jobs, and have been dying to get citizenship, like my father back in 1977,
I just all I want is I want meaningful dialogue, right? Like I want you to actually address the problem. Like there's no way that it should take 10 years and $20,000 worth of legal bills for someone to navigate the process to become a legal citizen. That is that is so ridiculous. I can't even handle it, right? There's no way that
Especially when you've been here 10 years, haven't broken any laws, been paying taxes, been paying your bank. You're here, your children are here, you're raising an American flag in front of your home. That
the
disgusts me.
what
Then that
right
being
like
said, people sending their children across the border to make a run for it, to think about the desperation of that situation is, that's next week's segment, Bill. But for people to be ignorant to what that represents is doesn't make them pro-life. I'll say that.
Well, and all I'm speaking to is I don't even know that it's beneficial to have this debate over like that person who's applying and it takes 10 years and all that to get. That's not my point, right? All I'm saying is that as the greatest country in the world, you shouldn't have a process that takes 10 years unless there's a legitimate reason on why it needs to take 10 years. It's just the fact that no one has taken the time to fix it, right? That we elect people to go figure out how to govern the country, and they take this one problem and they set it to the side because it's toxic for all of them.
Well, that's a hot potato, right? Exactly.
But that's crap. That's total crap. Like if you're gonna run for government, be willing to deal with the issues that need to be dealt with. And if that means you only get to do it one term, well, good, because you're supposed to like have another job.
I would go back on the radio.
I'm not sure career politicians are really good for this country. You know, like you should have another career.
Bill, if you wanted me to run, you should have tried harder for Sheila back in the primary last year. Bill Cole is here. He is Cole Roofing and Accordion Energy, and we're having fun and talking some politics, mixing it up. I want to go back to baseball to end this, all right? And then we're going to have a bye week or two here for you and I as we get through opening day. Are you going to an Oriole game this year? That's a fair question.
I'm sure I will. Yeah, and more so than I would have in like 2019, right? Like I want to go because we couldn't go. I want to go because I haven't seen friends. I haven't, been able to sit around and just talk. Like I'm going. I need to go because it's a social landing place where I can enjoy the fellowship of others.
I actually did that this week. And I'm going to out one of my dearest friends because I love him and I love his band, John Allen, who I grew up with, the Stone Horses and Charm
Drummer,
City
right? Drummer.
Drummer was a drummer. No, not a drummer anymore. Singer.
Oh,
watch out.
Okay.
It's like telling me to stick to sports. So John and I just walked through Fells Point and grabbed food from Ekabin and sat on a pier like two old men with chopsticks eating, Taiwanese food in the middle of Baltimore and having a beer in the middle of the square and sort of walking around. And I'm like, this is better than doing this at an Oriole game. Like when I'm thinking about like you and I getting together, are we going to have breakfast, lunch, beers, happy hour? We're going to go fishing. We're going to go boating. What are we going to do when we spend time together? Do we want to do that at an Oriole game? And I would put it to you that when I get together with Dennis Colatzos, we're going to go fly fishing. When I get together with you, it's probably going to be at Accelerant or, over a pizza or a beer or whatever. When you go to an Oriole game, you won't
maybe
even
a crab
me.
cake.
You won't
maybe
even
a crab cake.
Well, it's going to be a crab cake for sure.
Yeah,
Where are you taking me? Where's your crab cake place? Now, listen, this is important because
my kitchen.
Mickey Coachella said that too. Mickey's like, if you want to do crab cakes, you got to take people's recipes. The best crab cakes I've ever had are recipes. And I'm like, I get that. But for my purpose is to stimulate business, Cole Roofing, leader of the roofing organization.
We can go to Wise and get all the ingredients, and then maybe we'll just do it right there in the parking lot.
All right, Rob Santoni will check off on that. That's a good answer because when I told Wise I was doing this crab cake thing, we're like, hey, got a signature crab cake at Wise, and they do. And I didn't buy it this weekend. You know what I got?
They're even better, Ness. We're going to buy their crab cake. I'm going to make my crab cake in the parking lot. And then, you will be stuck trying to figure out which one of your sponsors you actually want to say is better and not hurt our feelings. So that's what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to put you in that spot.
I'm not doing better or best. I'm going to this isn't beat Bobby Flay. This is going to be talking about the cake, the moisture, how it stays together, whether it's got crackers or breadcrumbs, whether it's mustardy or celery seed full, or whether it's broiled or fried. How much Old Bay is in it? Do you put parsley in it? Do you put pimento in it? Some people look down upon these things. And then this is the biggest one. And I'm going to let this one have dead silence at the end. You using Maryland meat or you using that Asian meat? Right?
Yeah.
Going to hear that one. I knew that would drop the mic. Bill Cole is here. He is Cole Roofing and Accordion Energy. He's my friend. He's going to games. Now, other than your kitchen, where are we going for a crab cake that I've never been? That's going to be a really important question after I get through the first dozen famous, because I've been to Pappas, I've been to Coco's, I've been to G&M, I've been to these places, right? I'm going to go once, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to, not rate the crab cake. I'm going to talk about the crab cake, going to show the crab cake, hopefully going to hang out with somebody like you. If I'm in Anne Arundel County, maybe Stuart Pittman will be there. If I'm in Hartford County, maybe Barry Glassman will be there. I don't know. But we're going to do this. Where are you taking me? Where's your crab cake place?
Well, I would only say this because it forces you to get out of your sort of arena, and it is the most recent, not place you've already probably talked about. Is Madonna Seafood, which is way out there.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Where's that? Madonna, Maryland?
Yep.
What? I've never
Yep.
heard of this. I've never
There
been
you
to
go.
Madonna, Maryland. I've seen it on a sign.
Yep. That's where we'll go then. It's out there, but we can share our crab cakes with the cows and see how they like them, but it's really good.
You had a great crab cake there?
Oh, yeah, I mean, look, I'm the wrong guy for your crab cake plan, because
You like
I would rather pick steamed crabs than eat a crab cake, and I like my mom's crab cakes that are not all that fancy, deep fried, and they're okay, like G&M's crab cake. I have that from time to time because it's near my office. It's good, but I don't know, it's okay. I don't order the crab cake every single time I go there, because I'm just not
You
a.
know what? I'm not going to eat a crab cake with you. I mean, and I'm not going to an Oriole game with you. You don't appreciate the Orioles enough. You don't love the Orioles like I love the Orioles. So I ain't going with you. You don't love crab cakes. I ain't going with you. There.
I will always be honest with you, so that's just the best I can tell you.
What do you like? Like if you were going to take me out to eat, what?
I like everything. What I like is I like the ambiance. I like sitting around the table. I like good conversations. I like, like I'll find anything fun, like the food can be fun. I don't have a preference. I mean,
See,
I
I'm
like
home
good.
alone this week, and I went to Wise Markets over the weekend, and I picked up these pork cutlets, and they had lemon garlic. Garlic and herb is what it said. Garlic and herb, just to use the right terminology. And I looked at them like, I want those, and I brought them home. And I needed a friend to come over. You know what I mean? Like that, I was going to grill it up. Maybe I had some jasmine rice, some fresh broccolini on the side, right? And now it's just sort of like I'm home alone eating. So I'm eating out of a box and building Baltimore positive, bigger and stronger, and getting ready for opening day. Next week, by the way, Bill, going to be presenting Hall of Fame baseball conversations here. Tommy Lasorda died recently, Hank Aaron, Joe Morgan. I have conversed with a lot of these folks, George Brett, other people, Mike Schmidt, all you will hear next week, as well as Cal Ripken, Brooks Robinson, Earl Weaver, as well as baseball conversations. It's opening day next week, Bill. It's like when people tell me to, stick to sports. So that's what I got to do next week.
I think the dark, what do they call it? The dark, cold winter of, the pandemic and all that. It went really fast and really slow all at the same time. Like it was Groundhog Day, but it went way faster than I think anybody gave it credit for. I mean, it's almost the end of March, right? It's almost opening day. It's really
80
crazy.
degrees this weekend?
Yeah, really crazy how quickly things evolve. So appreciate that, right? Like glad that it went fast. So.
Yeah, I said to somebody this week. I mean, it's Don. I've been walking through the city a lot, and I think the city's getting better. I mean, I believe that. I wouldn't just say that, right? So I walked through the city again last night. Like I've talked about walking through the city, and it's all I have. I'm not getting on planes, flying places, doing the things I usually do. I'm hoping to get out and see more of the state this summer, but I think the city's getting better, and I think people are seeing sort of whatever it is they want to do, they're pent up to go want to do it. And that's good. I think we're all going to appreciate things a little bit more this next time around. And it's great to visit with you. I know it's going to be a couple of weeks. Enjoy your downtime. Enjoy your away time. Watch the Orioles a little bit on opening day. I mean, they're 0-0 at least on the beginning of the season. Tell everybody what you do and how to get in touch with you if you need a roofing job done or if you're interested in solar. I've been promoting your solar, Bill.
ColeRoofing.com or GordianEnergySystems.com, commercial roofing and solar. I think just fundamentally, we really like to help people solve problems, and whether that means connecting you to somebody else in our community that helps with whatever your problem is, because it's not a problem that we solve, we really get a lot of satisfaction out of that too. So we just like to be helpful. So any way we can help, reach out. We're happy to help you.
Enjoy the good weather. We'll eat some good food together before the summer is over. Bill Cole, Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy. I am Nestor. You can find me, Ness, at BaltimorePositive.com. I'm in LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and putting up pictures like this. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We never stop talking Baltimore positive in those wise conversations.